Hey guys, day number 7,543 of our time here being stuck at home from the coronavirus. Um, Today we're going to continue on our house arrest series talking about Ephesians chapter 4. And we're going to see today Paul continuing to talk about growing up in Christ and kind of what that looks like. So let's go ahead and read. Now this I say and testify in the Lord, that you must no longer walk as the Gentiles do, in the futility of their minds. They are darkened in their understanding, alienated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them, due to their hardness of heart. They have become callous and have given themselves up to sensuality, greedy to practice every kind of impurity. But that is not the way you learned Christ. Assuming that you have heard about him and were taught in him as the truth is in Jesus, to put off your old self, which belongs to your former manner of life and is corrupt through deceitful desires, and to be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and to put on the new self, created after the likeness of God in the true righteousness and holiness. So here he's talking about not living as the Gentiles live. In other words, changing how we live to more fit Christ. And a lot of times as Christians, we tend to focus on how we outwardly act and do things. And I think sometimes we get the cart ahead of the horse a little bit, when really what's going to affect our actions is when our minds and our hearts change. And you can see Paul's focus here on hearts and minds, and getting those things focused on Christ, and having a mind of Christ and a heart focused on Christ that then changes our action. So Paul says that the Gentiles have this hardness of their hearts, and they have a futility of their minds. In other words, their minds and their hearts are focused, and he lists some things like they're focused on sensual things, on things of this world, not of things above. And because of that, their actions come out to prove those things. So I think one of the things he wants to get across is growing up as Christians and being more mature, is being more like Christ. And the way that happens is when we get our hearts and our minds focused and trying to be like him, trying to look at his life and act it and be like he was. I saw Al Hogan, one of our elders, is doing a study of the red letters in the Bible. He's going through and he's reading through the red letters and just kind of seeing exactly what Jesus has to say. And that's really cool, because he has to be the basis of our Christianity. We'll never be good enough. We'll always be sinners. So the only thing we can do is get our minds focused on Christ, get our hearts focused on Christ, and make sure that we're living a life worthy of his calling. Finally, he finishes talking about putting on a new self and putting away the old self. When we become Christians, our life has to be totally changed. And you kids have probably heard me talk about this before, but if you come to lunch and you told me you were late because you got hit by a Mack truck, I'm probably not going to believe you, because if you had been, you would be completely changed. That's how living for Christ should be. Once we become Christians, it should be like getting hit by a Mack truck. Our whole lives should be flipped around. And so what I want to encourage you to do today is just continue to focus on Christ. In the midst of being stuck at home and sickness and probably getting tired of your siblings, focus on Christ. Put him first. Try to live like he did. And then the actions and living like Christ will come from that. So, all right, say bye, Blakely. Bye. Love you guys. Bye.